Hey everybody, Kneecap here. This is a holy healing guide for Eye of Azshara. I happen to be doing this on Mythic +3, but of course this guide will be usable no matter what difficulty you're doing it on. This is just happens to be +3 with no other little side uh, hardness things added to it. I can't think of the word right now. Anyways, so as you see, we're kind of doing big pulls here. Mythic pluses are timed, so these mobs are really easy to heal through, especially when you're pulling them in proper amounts. The hulking Naga there is a little bit harder. We didn't mean to pull that with these, and that's why you see everyone's health going down so much right there. And of course, you just have to. The good thing about especially the beginning part of this dungeon for a paladin is usually it's spike damage and not group wide damage constantly. So you are able to keep up for the most part. It's not overall group healing. And as you can see, with just one little pack of mobs, you're not going to have to do too much. Not a ton of damage going out. A little bit of heals here and there, and that's it. And then we'll go back to regular speed as we pull the first boss here. The first boss basically has not a whole lot to worry about. There's a spear ability that, as a Holy Pally, my advice to you is to bop the person that he hits with the spear if they don't do the mechanic. The mechanic is to hide on the other side of a Naga ad that comes, and the spear will pierce it and kill it instead of hitting you or your allies. There's a charge right there as well that he does that you can just simply avoid. So spear, charge, there are some ads, but it's all relatively easy. As you can see, I don't have to heal too much, and when I do, it's just usually on one target. We do have time warp here on this boss, and so lost heroism, whatever. So it does make it a little bit faster than normal, but that's on Mythic 3. So if you're doing on regular, obviously you don't need to have quite as high DPS. As we make our way after the first boss, we're going to get to one of these big ads. The biggest thing with these female larger Naga here are the little swirlies they put on the ground, and those will just knock you in the air and do quite a bit of damage. If you don't get hit by those, though, you're not really going to be taking a lot of damage, so not too much to worry about healing wise there. You have to do one more pull, and you're going to get some ads with it most likely, and we accidentally even pull some in the back, so this is quite a big pull, so you will see some damage go out here. A lot of ads and people getting hit by things. I actually use a precautionary bubble. If you watch any of my other videos, you'll know that that's kind of my tendency. I'd rather bubble too early than bubble too late. One less person to heal is kind of the way I look at it if I'm bubbled. And then we'll come up to the second boss. Second boss is also very easy. What you're going to have is two easy bosses, a more difficult paladin boss to heal, another easy one, and then finally a difficult one again. So what you're going to do is you're going to start on the land here. You're just going to be healing. There's not going to be a ton to heal at the start. As long as everybody's on land, there's not going to be any damage from that. And then you're just going to move to the water afterwards. Alright, so she's going to summon some ads. Tank picks them up, hopefully. There's a little blast ability that comes out as well. You kind of shoot it straight ahead of you, so you don't want to really be looking at anybody when you're about to shoot that blast off. So I kind of face away maybe. Those tornadoes are going to come try to hit you and knock you in the air. If they hit the land, they actually blow the land up. As you can see, I'm standing on the land, precautionary, because we're going to need to be standing on the land soon. And then you go right back to the water. You see that tornado blew up that landmass there. But it does also get rid of the tornado, so it does have a good benefit as well. You see the little blasts come out straight ahead of me there, so I actually hit everybody with it. That's my own fault. And it's just rinse repeat. As you see, not a ton of group damage once again, as long as people are doing mechanics at least. To land. Alright. So again, They not too hard of a heal there for a Holy Pally on the first two bosses. But now we'll get to one that's a lot more difficult. Probably the hardest one to heal in the instance for a Holy Paladin because of how mobile it is. But first you have some interesting trash in front of it. This trash is something you do have to watch out for. These big hydras here, um, they do attack that really hurts if you actually stand in that. As you see, it kind of like progresses and gets bigger. Well, at least more spread out as it goes. And then there's also these random ones, little lightning blasts that pop up. Obviously, all you have to do is avoid standing in it, but that stuff does hurt pretty bad. And you're going to want to pull all the trash around this boss, serpent tricks, because you're going to be moving around a lot, and you don't want to accidentally pull it with the boss itself. Be careful when if you're doing this like this. If you get too close to the boss, a cleave from a fireball or whatever could hit the boss and pull it. These little um, crustacean looking things, they do a sand ability that hits really hard, but you just don't have to stand in front of them, and you can completely avoid it. Mage is getting hit by something there, probably the sand ability that I was just mentioning. As you go higher and higher in Mythic, you can actually not heal through that, like I just did. We're going to pull one last one. That's just because of you have to kill a certain percentage of trash to finish the dungeon. So decided to pull another mob. Now here's the boss. The boss is just going to be tanked at first, and until the first submerge, it's really not that bad. Just kind of mostly heal the tank, and there's going to be some poison abilities like those. They just run out of the swirls, and you see the fell-looking corruption on the ground. That's a toxic wound, which is going to be put on one random player, and you kind of just have to run around and place it strategically if you can. And when he pops back up, as you see, I have toxic wound now. I'm actually kind of running it in the where the boss is supposed to go. So there's going to be ads on either side that you have to kill, and those need to be killed as fast as possible. There's the wind's going to start blowing you. You can still cast while you're getting blown by the wind. It's just kind of annoying because it might push you out of range. As you can see right now, there's one mage out of my range, and this is going to happen a lot in this fight, especially with your range DPS, because they're probably not going to just pay attention to where you are. So you're going to have to move around as the paladin most of the time, unless you're in voice client with them and can tell them to move closer to you. You see one of the mages almost dies. He's way on the other side. I have to run against the wind through a toxic puddle to get to him. But I did get him, so that was good. I think I lay on hands him there. So I have toxic wound. Just kind of running that around. Kind of trapped myself over here, which is never smart. So not a great move by me there. And I have toxic wound again. What's worse about the worst thing about toxic wound as a paladin is it really limits your healing. Obviously, you do have some moves you can do instant cast, and you have other abilities that can negate damage, and you always have Light of the Martyr as well if your health is fine. I don't like to use it in harder content because I find that my health is low if other people's health is low. But other than that, it's just a mobile fight, and just pay attention to use your mini map or whatever you have to use to where your range DPS are, because they could very easily be too far away from you. You could have full mana and still not be able to keep them up because they were just too far away. You're going to pull a bunch of Murlocs in this cave. Those are the easiest trash in here. Try to avoid pulling the snails. They have a ton of health, and they do a ton of damage if you stand in their slime attack. So we're just pulling more Murlocs. You can actually skip a lot of this stuff if you're just doing it on heroic or regular, because we need to kill mobs. We just go ahead and pull these. They die really fast. I think we actually ended up pulling too much trash in here, and we could have even finished even faster. We got 2 chests, and I really think this could have been a 3 chest group, especially for this content. I accidentally pulled this giant just now. I think I was typing or I was looking at something and wasn't paying attention. Luckily, the group's good enough that we don't wipe or anything. This giant does the little swirlies, and in this pull you'll have one giant do a stomp that stuns everybody like that, and one does the swirlies. I actually got hit by both because I got stomped on a swirly. The wind's blowing, there's a stun. The stun one's the most annoying because you can clearly see the whole group's taking a bunch of damage, which is always the worst because you're kind of playing catch up as a holy paladin. That's what I call it. Um, your whole group's down, and it's like feel like you can't catch up because you have to kind of single target heal everybody up best you can, especially in the group comp like this where I only have a tank and a melee, and the other two are ranged. So at the most, I'm going to be hitting 2 or 3 with my Light of Dawn. So that's only 40 or 60%, and there's going to be others that don't. For this boss, you saw that first attack there. You just don't stand in that easy enough. Gaseous Bubbles is an interesting ability because it negates some damage being taken. So you think that's a great thing, and it really is. But you do want that bubble to wear off of you. So you do want to take damage while you have it and let it wear off. As you see, it's off of me, because if it doesn't get taken off you with damage and it expires on its own, it actually hits you pretty hard. So you do want that bubble to come off you just by regular damage taken. So it can be Quake or these little pools of water on the ground. Those do a ton of damage, by the way. So you really don't want to stand in those more than anything. That's the only part about this fight that's even mobile, is just avoiding standing in these little blue circles on the ground. As long as everybody's doing the mechanics right, this is really, really easy to heal. You're basically healing your tank from the melee attacks from the boss, and then just whenever someone makes a mistake, or if they don't get that bubble off them in time, the gaseous bubble, as you see, the tank just took a ton of damage there. But it'll be spiky like that too. It'll be all of a sudden some people took some damage, so you can use Aura Mastery, or pop your wings and just hurry up and flash them all up real quick. And we'll do the last round of trash here before we get to the last boss, which is also very mobile. I find it easier than the Serpent Tricks fight because I've had more success on this one. For whatever reason, personally, I think it's because your group is kind of closer together if they're doing it right, and obviously the closeness helps paladins, because let's say I have to move 3 steps to my right or left, I still, I don't have to. That's so much better than running 10 yards, or they were in range of you and you start casting something, you see that they're out of range and you have to cancel the cast because it's just going to go on yourself, or you have to and then just run after them. And when someone's always in range of you and you can kind of rely on that, that's a lot better. So that's why I think that this fight is so much easier than Serpent Tricks, even though it requires almost as much movement. So as you will see, we go ahead and pop our time warp again, like on the first boss, which lets us go really fast. And this is going to be generally faster than any normal time you do this without like a really geared group. You see a tornado, and our mage actually got hit by that tornado. There's a big old AoE attack there. You can see giant arrow. Don't stand with that giant arrow. Kind of let them stand by themselves. Heal them up. Arcane Bomb to spell it. I guess that's a key component, is Arcane Bomb. He needs to spell off. It'll be on a ranged DPS if possible. And now the waves are going to start, and you're just avoiding everything you can. There's little swirlies, there's waves, there's the big attack, there's tornadoes, there's Arcane Bomb. There's a little bit of everything here, so it is a little bit mobile. Kind of are spreading out a little bit right here, which I don't like. But the boss is almost down, so it's not a huge deal. Go ahead and pop the wings. Everyone's a little bit hurt. And you can see I actually got ready for raiding here, which is an achievement for not getting hit by anything. So if you can get it on Mythic +3, then you can get it on regular. But that's about it for Eye of Azshara. Everyone, thumbs up and sub, and have a good one.